wants to complete Revelations, well, I'm here to do that for you today. This is the round by round guide to complete the Revelations Easter egg, but if you don't want none of that, you can just go and skip to the no nonsense part of this guide. All timestamps will be inside of the description, and you can skip to whatever step you want to get round by round on, just in case you die. Keep in mind this is classics only, so we are not going to be using megas like Undead Man Walking, Near Death Experience, or Perkaholic, and to show that it's perfectly easy to use classics for this. Now, I do not have the screen showing you what classics to use, but I'm going to be going over those in a second. But without further ado, let's go and hop into the Revelations Easy Easter Egg Guide for solo players. The gobblegums I would recommend you guys are in plain sight, because we're going to be using this for the boss fight, and it's just super useful. That tagged along with anywhere over here, which is also just a jail-free card, basically, so you don't die. Danger close is just in case you don't want to use in plain sight inside the boss fight, because there will be panzers inside of there. And you can also use alchemical antithesis just in case you run out of ammo in some of your weapons, and a gobblegum of your choice as always. But without further ado, let's go and hop into the first step and first round of this Easter egg. As soon as you load it, you're going to want to run to this corruption engine and go ahead and start it up. And I recommend you don't kill any zombies or the furies that spawn in, because it might be able to complete a challenge for you that will give you a free max ammo, which might be useful in a future step. So just don't try to kill anyone. If you do that and you don't get a trial, it means that it just isn't a trial for you. And the trials aren't mandatory for this Easter egg. But you can spin the gobblegum machine and kill some zombies. But after that, open up to this little area right here, just right toward the Origins jump pad. Then shoot this grave right beside this barrier on the right. Then go ahead and come back over here and shoot the barrier on the left, or the gravestone. And then shoot the barrier on the left over here. And then shoot the barrier on the right, right beside the Origins jump pad. After that, you should hear this noise. You should see a flame appear on every single gravestone, indicating that you complete this step, and there will now be a rock that has spawned in. After this, take the jump pad over to Shangri-La and then turn around, and if you see a little triangle rock right on the jump pad right here, then that means that's where that rock is, and just keep that in mind. It should be a little triangle shape. It might be a little hard to see. But now you're going to open up to Shangri-La, and now we're going to be looking for a couple of parts and turn on the second corruption engine. The first part can appear in this little basket right here. It should be a pink crystal for the Keeper Protector item, and then come on up here. The first shield spawn point will spawn on that wall right there, and then right above the pack punch location in Eisendrache should be right there, and once again on that wall where it is in my game right there. In order to get this shield, you're going to need to turn on every single one of the 4 stones, just like in Eisendrache. And now we're going to be doing a couple more things, so make sure you pay attention here, because some of this isn't mandatory, it's just useful. Another Keeper Protector crystal spawn is right beside that rubble right there beside the pyramid. Then come over beside this engine and look up. And then go ahead and shoot the clock symbols 935. So the exact symbols I shoot in my game, and after you shoot 935 on the clock, not 115, but 935, you should hear this noise, indicating your success. We are going for the Viking helmet because it's very, very good and it's very easy to get as well. Go ahead and turn on the second corruption engine, and if you did not get that trial, or if you messed up somehow and killed a zombie, then you can just go and try to do it on this one. This one will have keepers and furies. Then you can go ahead and turn on all 4 of the symbols and collect your shield part. After you do that, you can then go ahead and head down here, and if you shot the right symbols and heard that sound, this little urn from the lightning bow upgrade should be lightning, obviously. And then you're going to want to get about 5 headshot kills beside this urn, and their souls should be absorbed. They have to be headshots, and they have to be beside this urn. We're going to be looking for a couple more of these. And once you do that, you will hear a noise, and you will see it light up. Now head to the character totem projector room, where there will be another urn beside the projector right here. Once again, you get 5 headshots beside the urn. It should then go up and make a noise, and then you can go ahead and make your way over here, and look, there's another spawn for the crystal on this table right beside the jump pad. And then once you've collected that crystal, it can spawn in any of those locations I just listed. You can then go and take the jump pad to Verruct, and we can work on there for a little bit. Now here's another rock spawn for the triangle rock on this little podium right there in the jump pad. Now there's a lot of parts in Verruct. So the first shield part spawn can spawn on this pillar right here, and then a keeper head can also spawn on that bookshelf right beside Speed Cola. And then you can go and open up to the corruption engine, and another keeper skull spawn can be in this wheelchair right here. It's kind of hard to see, but it should have an indicator. And then you can go ahead and here, and there will be another shield part spawn on this wheelchair right in this little bit of rubble. And then there is yet another shield part spawn on the kitchen table, and then there's one final keeper spawn location right inside of this wheelchair, right beside the jump pad leading to Mob of the Dead. Make sure to go ahead and turn on that corruption engine, and then we can go and work on this urn inside the kitchen right beside that shield spawn. And once that fills up, you should once again hear a noise, and it should glow, and now we can move on to Mob of the Dead. Once you're done, take the jump pad, and then you should see another triangle rock spawn right here where it was in my game, on this jump pad in the little corner right there. Then you can go ahead and come over here, and there will be a flag spawn inside the Mob of the Cafeteria right beside Mule Kick right here, and then you can go and turn that corruption engine, and now we can go ahead and find the next shield spawn and keeper protector part as well, and that should conclude all of those parts, which is good. Another flag location can be on top of the mountain beside this crate right here, and then there's another one inside the robot footprint right beside the generator right here. Now we can go and fill up the next urn. Next urn is located right through this door leading to the generator right on this little box table thing right here. And for a final time, you can go and fill that up with souls, and after you do that, you should hear this completion sound. Now there's one shield part spawn just past that little room where the urn is on this little crate right here, and then there's another one on this little bit of metal piece right here. It should be a dragon head, and then coming up past the KRM wall there should be one just sitting in the chair right there. You should now have all of the keeper pieces and the urns and all the corruption engines and the shield spawns. I'm now going to be showing you where you can build and use these things for your benefit. Go ahead and head to one of the teleporters that you should have gotten from the corruption engines, and then go and head upstairs. You can go and pick up some Juggernog as well, then go and build the shield. And as well, whenever the Apothican is heading past the death ray here, you should get an indicator, and you can use that right before he passes. It should electrocute him. And now you have unlocked Pack-a-Punch. Good job. And now you can go and head to Keynote Totem as well to pick up the Viking helmet just past the stage right here, and this will allow you to get one extra hit from zombies, which is super useful on top of Juggernog. And if you go and take a 360, there should also be a keeper location where you can build the keeper, and this keeper is in all the areas, and you can summon them anywhere except for spawn and knocked, which is just fantastic and also necessary for the Easter egg. Now this is the hard part. We have about 3 options for the next step, which is to use the keeper protector to do a summoning ritual for a reel. Now you have 3 options. Number 1, you can either use a high power weapon like a shotgun, Dracon, or LMG and just do it and brute force it. However, the problem is the zombies are really fast, and there might be a boss zombie that summons in if you're on the wrong round. Now, the problem with this is, well, obviously, the keeper can die, so you have to defend him at all costs. So you can brute force it, and the rounds will progress. It won't be any special rounds or anything like that. So, or you can also get the Apothican Servant and Thundergun, or if you really want it, Ragnarok's and our little Arnie's. However, that's a little bit overkill. I would just recommend the Apothican Servant and Thundergun, since we're probably going to be wanting those for the Easter egg, and the Apothican Servant is mandatory. So, it's best to be spending for Apothican Servant and little Arnie's. Those are the 2 things you actually need to complete this Easter egg. So, make sure you get those 2 while you're spinning the box as well. And I'm going to show you how to pack punch that in momentarily. And the third one is to just get a bug round. Bugs do not actually attack the keeper, so if you summon the keeper on a bug round and he does the ritual, he will not die. So let's go and move on to actually how to complete this. So first, you're going to want to summon your keeper in with 5,000 points. Now this step can be very, very wonky. However, I recommend you take the launch pad over to the side where you got the rock at. So the launch pad that has the rock is red, and you can go and walk into it, which makes the keeper protector kind of want to walk into it. Now, funny enough, in my game, the keeper actually glitched out and got outside of the map and started doing the ritual. So I can't really do anything about that in my game, but he's just outside the map and the zombies are not attacking him, which is fantastic for me. So maybe this happens to you. This is a very buggy step. However, normally all you have to do is just use whatever weapons you have to defend the zombies that will be attacking him. Some of them can use the launch pad, so keep that in mind. And if you're on like round 10 or 20, you can get a Margwa or even a Panzer to spawn in, and I believe it does attack him. So you need to be very, very aware of that. And if you have little Arnies, you can go and use those to distract the zombies. It will work. And after he does that ritual, you should hear this noise. will then fade away and a wheel will fall down. Go and pick up that reel and take it to Nocturne Toad and insert it in this little machine right here. And make sure you do this because you cannot do the next step unless you've done this. Now for this next step, you are actually going to need little Arnies, so make sure you get those out of the box. They can be very rare. This is a very annoying Easter egg in the sense of RNG. So make sure you get little Arnies. That's the only way you can get them is from the box. And now you're going to want to come inside the Apothican after that reel has finished, and you're going to want to throw little Arnies inside of these like little holes inside the Apothican. So basically what I recommend you do is either write down or just remember which holes you've thrown these little Arnies in, because if you forget, then it's going to be a bad day. So make sure you just go and throw them in these holes. I recommend you prone or crouch, because if you miss, it's not going to be a good day either. But after you make it into 3 out of these 9 holes, 3 Margles will then go ahead and spawn in. You can go ahead and kill all of those. There's not a guarantee that you'll get a max ammo from one, but if you do, that is great. If you don't get a max ammo, I will share tips at the end of this section of the video, but then go ahead and throw 3 more Arnies from that you hopefully got from max ammo from a Margwa into 3 more holes, the ones that you have not yet done. So do not throw one inside the hole that you have done. And if you hear a Samantha laugh, that is either because you have not inserted the reel into the little like machine radio thing and knocked, or you just have already done that hole, or you just somehow missed or something. After you throw 3 more in, 3 more Margwas will spawn in. Go and take those out, and once again, hopefully you get a max ammo. And then you can go ahead and throw them in the 3 holes that you have not yet done. And I will show you the map of where all 3 of these are. But after you've done all 3 of those, 3 final Margwas will spawn in. And then if you come to this section of the Apothican right here, you will see a reel. Go ahead and pick that up. Now, if you do not obtain a max ammo from the Margwas you've killed, you're either going to have to go to a bug round, or just try and get one from a zombie, or one of the things that spawn in the Apothican. Or if you've completed the trial inside of the Nocturne Toad, you should be able to get a max ammo from that first trial you have completed. And some of them can be a little tricky, but if you complete one, it should just give you a max ammo. And yeah, but that's pretty much the only ways you get max ammo. So if you don't get a max ammo, you've run out of trials, you're just going to try and kill some zombies to get some. It is kind of annoying how it's not guaranteed. However, this is the path that you can take to just do them without having to like write all the ones you've already done down, and try not to get too inconsistent. I recommend you start off on the right side of the Apothican right after you enter into this hole, and then coming down here this hole, and then coming back up this little ramp right here in this hole, and then go and kill all 3 of the Margwas. You can then come up here and do this hole, and then come right down here and do this hole, and then right beside the pack punch, do this hole right here. Kill those Margwas. This time start on the left and do this hole right beside the other one, then come up this ramp and do this one right here, and then for a final time coming up here, do this one in this little tunnel area right here, and then that should be all of them. Then collect the reel, take it to Keandra Toad, put it on the audio log right beside the Viking helmet, and now it's time to begin the dreaded rock step. It's not hard, it's just annoying. So for this Easter, you're going to need the upgraded Apothican Servant, which I'm going to show you how to get in a second. And you're also going to want an upgraded gun that is not the thunder gun. It has to be a bullet weapon, so just keep that in mind throughout this. To upgrade the servant, we are going to need to shoot 5 blue rocks in the sky. So the first one, if you look right above spawn, it's just right there. Go and shoot with the Apothican Servant, and if you hit it, that's just a guarantee that it's going to get sucked up, and it should be disappeared from the sky. Now, if you see other guys that are just seem like they're in different locations, they do not spawn in different locations. They're just shooting it from a different angle to make it look like it's a different location. So just keep that in mind. It is just not random. It is spawns in the exact same spots every time. The next one is inside your Eisendrache, and all of these are really easy to shoot from the corruption engines. You can also shoot this one at Shangri-La. It might be a little bit easier, but go and shoot that. It should once again disappear. And the next one is inside Verruct this time, and this one's just right off in the distance, so you can see it right there, and then go and shoot that. Come up on these stairs right here. You can also shoot this from the launch pad going to Mob of the Dead, but you can just go and shoot that one right out of the sky, peeping out from the like little leaves right here. It should disappear, and now we have one more. This one is the hardest and trickiest to see because it's inside the blue sun skybox. For some reason, they thought that would be a good idea. But as you can see, it might be a little tricky to see at first, but then you just spy it off in the distance, shoot it, and then once you have all 5, return to the pack-a-punch machine. It should now be like all blue in the inside, and then go ahead and pack-a-punch your Apothican Servant. Now we are ready to begin the rock step. This first one is really easy. It's inside of spawn, and go to the corruption engine and look out. You should see a glowing kind of red block, and then shoot it with your upgraded normal gun, and then after you see a bone pop out, and you should see a bone pop out, go ahead and shoot that bone with your Apothican Servant, and then you should hear a noise. Now, just make sure you do all the steps in order. Make sure you hear this noise. This one's really annoying because it's just in the rocks, but you can just look out. It's kind of glowing red. Shoot it, and you just should see a bone pop out. I'm trying to make this as clear as possible for you guys because this can be a little bit confusing. You just shoot exactly where I shoot right here, and then you should collect the bone. The next one is inside of, you look out from the corruption engine from Verruct, you should see kind of like a cube rock. It kind of looks like a giant prism kind of thing. So go and shoot that. You should see the bone pop out, and once again shoot with your Apothican Servant. And then you once again hear that pulse kind of noise indicating your success. The next one is inside Nocturne Toad around the ledge right there going toward like the Eisendrache. So go and shoot that off and just spam shoot. This one is kind of hard to see, but you should see the bone come out. Shoot it with the Apothican Servant yet again. You should hear the noise, and well, as always, that is the completion sound. This one's definitely the easiest inside of Shangri-La. If you go ahead and peep beside Sam, you should see this kind of triangle rock. Go and shoot it. A skull should pop out, and go and shoot your Apothican Servant to absorb it. This one's really easy, so if you want to make sure you're on the correct step, if you're not getting this step, just make sure you get this one, because this one's easily the easiest. So go ahead and shoot that, hear the noise again, and you should now have the skull. But it's also super easy. If you look out beside Origins, beside the like little footprint area, you should see this rock, go and shoot it, and once again, with your Apothican Servant, shoot it once again, and now you have that. Now, the next one is easily the hardest. It is inside the Eisendrache, but for this one, you kind of have to wall run. This is pretty tricky. For this one, I recommend you start in Nocturne Toad and look out this barrier out toward Eisendrache and just spam shoot the wall that you see me shooting in the footage right here. This should hopefully shoot the rock and get the bone actually off the rock, which is just exactly what we need. And you can kind of see it start to float out there a little bit after you like kind of spam shoot just a little bit. It's kind of at the corner of the wall or at the edge of the wall, so keep that in mind. But you're going to want to wall run. And then once you're wall running, you're going to see a bone pop out, and while you're wall running, shoot the Apothican Servant at it. You should then hear the pulse noise, and, well, you should hopefully have all of the bones, and you should now be able to head to Nocturne Toad to find Sophia's body. Bones are not there. Go ahead and check all the locations where you previously shot it. If I don't have the bones here and I know I've shot in all of them, just keep in mind which ones you've heard the pulse at, guaranteed, and don't go check those. But one really tricky one is the Origins one. Whenever you shoot the Apothican Servant, it can kind of sometimes be a little bit tricky to get. But go and shoot the Apothican Servant at the bones, and then out should come Sophia's body after it disappears. Shoot Sophia's human body or zombified body with the Apothican Servant once again, and then once that disappears, a reel should go ahead and pop out and collect that. Take it up to the Origins excavation site, and then put it inside of this audio recording right here. We're going to want to connect the lasers back to Nocturne Toad using the traps at all 4 engines. So first, for the Mob the Dead one, that one was really easy. Just go ahead and aim toward the crystal like you see in this footage here, and try to shoot just all around the crystal. It doesn't have to be the blue spot. Shoot around the crystal until you see the laser beam. You get off the turret and the laser beam should be focused on. If you do not see the laser beam, or it's like invisible kind of, and you just get pushed off when you shoot the crystal, it's kind of just the bug. I mean, the laser can sometimes just be invisible, so just don't mind that at all. It's nothing game-changing. It's just an invisible laser. Then go and shoot Spawn, as you see in this footage, and then Verruct in this footage. Go and shoot this one right here. And then for Eisendrache, go and shoot this one off in the distance right here. And you should get booted off all of those, and after that, Sophia's body should be above Nocturne Toad, but do not interact quite yet. Once you save one or a couple zombies at the end of the round, go and interact with Sophia's body. She should materialize and then make her way to Eisendrache. Follow her through the portal and just stay close to her. You don't have to be too close. Just make sure you stay close to her. No zombies will spawn or anything. It's just a plain escort. Eventually, she'll make her way all the way to Nocturne Toad, and then you can access the teleporter. You can teleport to Samantha's room. Inside of here, you have to make sure you grab the canorium on the bed right here. So if you do not grab this, I don't know what to tell you, but just make sure to grab this canorium. This is the only thing you need from this room. And if you've done all the previous BO3 Easter eggs, you can actually insert a whisk into the box, but that's not here or there. But for this Easter egg, that's all you need to get is the canorium. Then once you make your way back to the real world in Nocturne Toad, go and place the canorium on the pedestal right here, and 4 souls should then be absorbed into the projector room. And now it's time for the Apothican egg step. Lucky enough for you, I have all the spawn locations for the gateworm symbols as well as the eggs, so just make sure you stay tuned if you want all those. Before we begin the skip, I have a couple things to guys to let you know. So first of all, only one egg will spawn inside of the areas. So for example, if you find an egg inside the Eisendrache, go check Shang or spawn. So one egg will spawn in Eisendrache, one egg will spawn in Shang, one will spawn in Origins and Mob the Dead, and one will spawn inside of Verruct. So just keep that in mind. There are only 4 eggs, so just check all these locations. There's only like 16 or so, and I'm going to go list them now. First egg is just across from the Bowie knife in this little seating area right here. The next one is just on this seating area right here, once again, just on the ledge right there. The next one is inside of this little like rift area beside the Wonder Fizz in this basket right here. The next one is coming up through here inside the Origins room beside the mystery box right beside the statue right here. The next one is inside of the Shangri-La fire right here. And the next one is also inside of the Shangri-La like beside this little corridor right here. Next one is right beside this garbage can right here. And the next one is inside this little basket area right here. First one is in this bit of grass beside Verruct right here. The next one is hanging up to the stairs beside Speed Cola right in this little bit of fire and rubble right here. And the next one is in between the Zetsubo test tubes right here. First one from Mob the Dead is just beside the corruption engine right here. And the next one is in this tunnel right beside the Kane 44 wall by right here. The next one is in the excavation site right beside the Wonder Fizz inside of the snow. And the next one is in this rubble right behind the Keeper Protector Summoner. Once you have one of these eggs, because you can only carry one at a time, you can go ahead and come inside the Apothicon. Once you're inside, go and place one of the 4 eggs inside of one of these 4 like little like, I don't even know what to call it, areas inside the Apothicon's stomach and the acid. The egg should get absorbed, and now you need to get a couple souls, and that is just you and you alone to get some souls. You have to be relatively near the egg and go and get some souls, and then once you get enough souls, the egg will then go ahead and pop inside the mouth, and then out will come a gateworm. So go and collect this gateworm, and now I'm going to show you some other spawn points as well with the gateworm summons. These can be all around the map once again, and there's only 1 per main area similar to the eggs. You will hear a little beeping noise as well as a vibration noise once you're close, just like this. You found that area with the gateworm, go and put the gateworm down. Just spam your interact button when you're around this beeping area. It should place down the gateworm and then disintegrate into a symbol. Just go ahead and click interact on that symbol once again, and right now it's not really important to what this symbol is, just hold on to it. And now we're going to go repeat that with all 4 of the other eggs and gateworms, but I'm going to go ahead and show you all the beeping locations you can possibly get in your game. First beeping location can just be beside this barrier right beside the launch pad right here, and the next one is just beside Quick Revive right here. The final one for spawn can just be beside that previous egg location beside the garbage bin right here beside the launch pad. Next one, Verruct, can just be beside this launch pad right here, and the next one can just be inside of like the power room right here, and the final one can also be beside the Zetsubo tubes, and I lied, there's also one right beside the wheelchair where the Keeper Skull spawn was beside the Mob the Dead launch pad. The next one from Mob the Dead can just be past this electric chair right here in the corner. And the next one can kind of be near that egg location in the same tunnel right here. And the next one could be in Origins just beside the footprint area where you would normally come out of the bunker on Origins right here. And that is all the ones for Origins. We have a couple for DE and Shang as well. The first one can be on this pad right here. And the next one can also be in the tunnel near that egg spawn beside the Wonder Fizz right here. And the next one could be inside the Origins room near that egg spawn beside this statue right here. And for Shangri-La, the next one can also just be directly near this little pad right here where you can activate Pack Punch on Shangri-La. Now, if you checked all those locations and you got all the beeping noises, you should now have 4 symbols, and now we're ready for a pseudo boss fight. If you want the smoothest and funnest experience possible, you're going to want the Thundergun, Apothican Servant, a bullet weapon, and if you want Ragnaroks, but they are by no means necessary, the shield, little Arnie's, and in plain sight for safety precautions, the Viking helmet, and all 4, and the 5th perk that you can get from the wall running. Once you're ready, stay on the pad inside of the room beside Widow's Wine, and then you should be transported to this little boss fight room. For now, there's not much intensity going on, but go ahead and interact with the Canorium. Once it opens, then go ahead and show a symbol, but in this time, go ahead and pull up your tooltip menu and select a number that book correlates to. So I see the symbol, I pull up my tooltip menu, and I match that with 4 because it's the 4th one in my order. I would identify this one as my first, so I have 4, 1 right now. Then once again, it'll turn the page, and now I have 4, 1, 3, 2. I would remember these numbers in order because they are very very important, because if you fail this, you will have to just basically, I think, just redo some stuff, and it's really just not needed at all. So these symbols will now appear inside of this room up here where you previously spawned at, and you're going to need to interact with them from what the order was in the book. So definitely pause your game before you are hearing this footage, because it is just insanely necessary. Because you're going to want to interact with this, because if you fail, it's not very good. You can also go and use your little Arnies and Ragnaroks if you have them, and Apothican Servant while you're doing this to make this a breeze and not a problem at all. No Margwas or anything will spawn, so you'll be a-okay. But once you've inputted that fourth number in order that the pages showed you, now it should then flash white, and now you're going to have to fight 4 sets of Margwas. So for the first one, it's basically random, but I'm going to walk you through every single stage of the Margwa and what they do and how to avoid their attacks. These are random once again, but for my game, I got the anti-gravity ones. For this one, simply just do not touch the floor, but however, it really just does not do that much damage at all. But try and stay in the light and just use your thunder gun to kill the Margwas. And if they spawn in, so basically, if you shoot the thunder gun and one of their heads is still glowing yellow, you can shoot them while they're in the animation of being hurt. So that might be a little bit confusing, but just keep that in mind. But the thunder gun is just insanely useful. Just continue to make that. There is a max ammo, so if you need it, go and grab it. However, there will not be multiple. But in this next Margwa step, for example, I got the Void Margwa step. For this one, just avoid the moving tornadoes and avoid the pillars that are moving, because you will get electrocuted. And this one is quite hard because the tornadoes do quite a lot of damage. But just try and stay along the inside instead of the outside, because that's where the tornadoes are on the outside. But once again, go and kill all the Margwas. There's only, I think you need to kill like 2 or 3 Margwas. But for this next one, I ended up getting... For the fire one, all you have to do is simply avoid the floor that is lava. It's basically just the floor is lava. You will not have anti-gravity mode, however, and there will be occasionally some firewalls. Just avoid those. This one can be quite tricky with the damage that the lava does. It's much more threatening than the other stuff. But kill the Margwas, and finally you have the electric wall Margwa. This one's relatively simple once again. He'll basically just summon a bunch of electric walls, and you just can't move out of them. It's really easy. If you play the Super Slasher boss fight, these are pretty much the same thing. It's pretty easy, and after you kill all 4 sets of the Margwas, the screen should then flash white, and then you should be able to collect the summoning key. Listen very closely with this step. Collect the summoning key, or it gets too congested, go ahead and throw the summoning key at the chandelier above, shoot at this like kind of rock thing you can see, and if you hit it correctly, there should be a giant flash of light, and you should also hear a noise.
Hands on the most powerful artifact in this or any universe.
Summoning key will then lash back out at you, and there will be a blue light that is similar to the mystery box light in the sky, so you'll always know where it is if there's a light above, and it'll also be kind of glowing on the ground. If you pick it up, it does, I think, maybe infinite damage, but it just does a ton of damage. But there will be a ton of zombies that summon in, almost like you started a new round. So go ahead and kill all those zombies down to 1. Once you have 1 zombie, we're going to go all throughout the map and throw it at certain things. Now, listen very closely. Do not teleport even once. This is the buggiest step in history. This step can basically make it so that the summoning key completely disappears, and we will need to spend a lot more time than necessary. But, so do not use the teleporters, use the launch pads. And try not to kill the last zombie, because the launch pads will do that. But the next one is inside of the Eisendrache, and this is the Eisendrache clock. Go and throw it at the clock. You should then see a flash of light. Go and pick it up as it throws it at you. The next one's in Shangri-La, the little crystal orb right there. Go and throw that at that. It should be a monkey bomb. Next one, Origins, is a little gravestone you can see on the top of the excavation site. Go and throw it. Throw it higher than you think, because it is kind of janky. But then go and pick up the summon key up. Go underground to Mob of the Dead and throw it at the poster. This one could also be kind of wonky. And then once you see that, it'll glow once again. Pick up the summoning key, and now we're going to head to Verruct. Once at Verruct, go and throw it at the fountain, and now it's time to go to Noct. Now, before you teleport to Noct, it seems like this is a very useful tip. Melee before you go into the portal. So when you go into the portal, you should have the melee animation play. And this hopefully should make it so that it does not disappear, because the glitch is if you go through the portal, the summoning key will just disintegrate. And the only way to get the summoning key back is to either down or get a death machine. I recommend you guys try and get the death machine, because downs are just too valuable. So try and get a death machine, because it just helps out a lot. If you have a death machine, you'll get the summoning key back for some reason. But now you're going to need to throw the summoning key at the red barrel out there outside the barrier. Go and throw it at it, and once you do that, the summoning key should disappear and you shouldn't get it back. This is supposed to happen. Now if you lose the summoning key, just once again look in the sky, and if you throw it and it just like goes off the map, it'll just teleport somewhere. So just look in the sky for blue lights. But now it's time for boss fight. You can't get a free perk from the trials. I think it's the second trial you complete, you can actually get a free perk, which is awesome. So make sure to try and do that, but if you don't, it's not mandatory. But make sure you have all the stuff you had for the previous boss fight, except 2 in plain sights and a danger closest gobblegum. One of those 2. And once you're ready for boss fight, head to the Kino teleporter and teleport once you're ready to defeat the Shadow Man. This is basically the exact same thing as the Shadows of Evil boss fight if you've ever played that. So basically, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to see the Shadow Me appear, and you're going to want to go to one of 4 pedestals in each of the 4 corners and place the summoning key inside of one of them. It should be glowing green. Go ahead and absorb those souls, and while you're doing this, go ahead and try to kill the Panzer. The Panzer should only be about 4 shots of the Thunder Gun, or maybe 5, and he should go down quickly. There should be a Maqua, but do not kill the Maqua. It is very important that you don't, because we do not want him starting to sprint around, because if you run out of in-plane sights, we're going to be using little Arnies, and he will just destroy those, so just make sure you keep that in mind. But after the summoning key is fully charged up with souls, you can then go and collect it. While holding the summoning key, throw it at Sophia, the ghost Sophia, and then pop in plain sight as she's shooting her laser, and then he should then get his shield taken down and shoot it with the bullet weapon. You're going to want to shoot the absolute heck out of this guy until he's in the far back of the Apothican. Once he's in the back of the Apothican, activate the Canorium without like a death machine or anything like that, and then he should absolutely get destroyed by the laser beam, and congratulations! You have completed all, hopefully, of the BO3 Easter eggs. Unless you want Grow Out Krovi, in which case, go check out my guide. I'll leave that in the end of this video, or the card top right. No. But so basically, if you run out of in-plane sights, go ahead and use your little Arnies, throw them in the back, or throw them at least near so the zombies can get out of the way. But once you're ready, shoot him them. And after you do this 3 times, if you fail it 2 times, it's okay, because he will actually get a time. His time will basically change, and it'll actually be longer enough time for you to kill him. So it should be easier the 3rd time. But hopefully this was a good guide for you guys, and next time will be the Voyage of Despair Easter egg guide. Hope you guys did enjoy, and make sure to vote on which character you think deserves to win the tournament. But boys, let's go and hop into the no-nonsense part of this guide. Start off by shooting in order the gravestones of Richtofen, Dempsey, Takio, and then Nikolai, and then there should be an indicator of a fire effect on the gravestones. Now you need to find a little triangle rock that leads from Mob of the Dead to Verruct. There's also one from Verruct to Kino, and there's also one from Shang to Spawn. So find that little triangle rock, and then you're going to need to summon in the Keeper Protector and put him on that pad that the triangle has, and then he should start doing a ritual. Now you will need to defend him until he stops. Then drop a reel. Pick this up and take it to the top of Nocturne Tome beside Jug and put it on the audio log. Now you'll need to get little Arnies and throw them into every single hole inside of the Apothican and kill all the 3 sets of Margwas that spawn in. After you throw 3 little Arnies in the holes, 3 Margwas will spawn in. Kill them and then repeat, and then kill those Margwas and then repeat 1 final time. Then pick up the audio log beside this dead skeleton and place it inside of the Kino stage audio log. Now we will need to find some bones. To find the bones, you will need to shoot a rock with a pack-a-punch gun and then shoot it with the Apothican Servant to collect the bone. The bones are in the following places. On top of the wall running inside of Eisendrache, and then there's also one in Spawn looking right to the Corruption Engine right there. And then there's one looking to the left of the Corruption Engine on this rock right here in Verruct. Also one to the left of Stamina inside of Shangri-La. There's also one in Origins looking out by the Roblox footprint beside that fire right there. There's also one Nocturne Totem on the ledge right there. If you collected all the bones, there should now be a skeleton on the top of Nocturne Totem. Shoot it with the Apothican Servant, and then there should be a human body that comes out, and then shoot the body with the Apothican Servant, and then a reel should come out. Pick up that reel and take it to the machine on the top of the mound, and then you can insert it there. Now use the turret trap to shoot at crystals in the sky to connect them to Nocturne Totem. Now the corruption engines all have these turrets, so you need to use them at Mob, Spawn, Verruct, and Eisendrache. Once you've shot all the lasers, Sophia should now be at the top of Nocturne Totem. Interact with Sophia, and then she should materialize. Now escort her to the Keynote Totem teleporter, where you can now use it and pick up the Chronorium inside of Samantha's room. Then when you get teleported back to Kino, place it on the podium, and you will see 4 souls go into the projector room. We'll now need to find 4 eggs. One spawns in every single area of the map. So find an egg, and then you'll need to take it inside the Apothicon, place it down inside of one of the 4 corners of the acid room, and then after you collect enough souls inside of it, it should pop out a Gateworm. You will now need to walk all throughout the map, and once again, you will need to place all 4 Gateworms that you get from the eggs. You need to take it into an area that you hear continuous beeping and vibrating your controller. If you don't know where these are, you can just go watch my other parts of my guide, because I have all the egg spawns and the beeping noise spawns. And basically one of these beeping noise sounds is only played in one of the parts of the map, and there are 4 Gateworms, and there are 4 main areas. Similar to the eggs, only one will spawn, and there will be 1 in every area. So go find all of them, and then place your Gateworm on one of those beeping areas once it gets more violent, and then you will collect your symbol. You'll need to repeat this with all 4 eggs and Gateworms that you collect to get all 4 symbols. If you've collected all 4 of the symbols, go stand inside one of these symbols inside of the Widow's Wand projector room. You'll be teleported to the boss fight room. Now go interact with the Chronorium. It will show you 4 symbols in order. You'll need to remember all 4 of these symbols, and then go interact with them where you spawned on this little pedestal right here. So whenever the symbols are flashing, select the ones in order that the book showed you, and then once you've done all 4, it should flash white, and now you'll need to kill Marguas. To play this as simple as possible, you'll be teleported into an elemental Margua type boss battle, and you will need to kill 2 of those Marguas. And then you'll be teleported to another element, which could be fire, or it could be lightning, or void, or any of the Margua types. Eventually, you will have to kill all 4 of the elemental Margua types, or 6 in total Marguas, because you'll need to kill 2 per element. So it sounds complicated, but you just need to kill 2 per element. So for example, for fire, 2, and all of them the rest 2. After you killed all 6 Marguas, the summon key will lower, and after you finish killing 2 of each elements, it'll flash white, and you will continue on to the next element. After the 4th, you will then be able to collect the summoning key and be teleported to the real world. Now you need to go choose the summoning key and hit every single main artifact of the map. So for example, in Kino, go and shoot the chandelier and shoot the meteor that is inside of it with the summoning key. Then go shoot the clock tower inside of DE, and do not teleport. I recommend to avoid a bug. But then you have to go shoot a crystal inside of Shangri-La, the grave inside of the mound on Origins, and then go down there to get the Mob the Dead poster, the Verruct fountain, and melee before you go to the teleporters to go to Knock to get the red barrel. And then it should disappear. Then after that, if you're ready for a boss fight, go and use the teleporter to go to the Shadow Man boss fight. Then place the summon key on one of the 4 podiums in the corners of the boss fight arena. Then fill it with souls. Once it's done, pick up the summon key and throw it at Sophia. And then she should shine a laser at the Shadow Man and then shoot him until he's at the way back of the Apothicon. It will teleport around like a Shadows of Evil fight. And once it's at the very back of the Apothicon, interact with the Chronorium, and then the laser should fire at him, indicating your success that you completed this Easter egg. And congratulations, you have completed the Revelations Easter egg once again, boys. Now, if you have done this and you've done all the previous ones, or if this is your first time, you would get 1 million XP. And if you've done all the BO3 Easter eggs, you would now spawn with the RK5, and you would have a whisk, and you get a ton of XP as well. So I hope this guide was useful to you guys, and I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day, and I guess Voyage of Despair will be next. I already have the footage, but gotta edit it, and that'll be coming out Saturday, I guess. So peace out, dudes.